Hi, I'm Matthew. Have you ever thought to yourself, gee, I really wish I could use something that shouldn't be a phone as your phone? Well, I sure have. And you see, that's why I'm going to try and turn this little orange shitbox into my phone. For those of you who are unfamiliar, this is the Rabbit R1. It's an AI companion that was released around a year and a half ago that proceeded to crash and burn on launch, and now I'm one of the sorry idiots who bought one. One day, as I was marveling at my $199 paperweight, one single terrifying thought echoed through my empty brain. What if I made this into my phone? This thing's already got a SIM card slot, and I'm pretty sure it's already running Android. So the schizophrenic voices in my head are saying, how hard could this really be? After doing a little bit of a Google search, I found out that people have actually figured out how to put Android on this thing already. Although there's still a few modifications I'm going to have to do before anyone would really consider this a smartphone. My first big issue is that I don't actually have a computer that can run the scripts to get Android running on my R1, seeing as they require either a Linux or a Windows device, and I don't have either of those. So I've turned to my old friend Facebook Marketplace to haggle with a grandma for their grandson's late 2011 Mac Mini. Now, the keen-eyed among you would say, Matthew, that's just another macOS device. That's not running Linux or Windows. And to that I say, shut up smartass, I'm getting to that. If you would have waited a goddamn second, you would have heard me say I then partitioned the disk and used a USB drive to get Windows running on this baby. After finally getting Android running, there are still a few software things I'm going to have to figure out before I'd really call this usable. Alright, so software problem number 1. Bluetooth doesn't work right now. And if you know me, daddy needs his Bluetooth. Holy shit, did I really write that shit? Software problem number 2 is calling doesn't work, and I really don't think it makes a good phone if you can't send and receive calls. Not that anyone is calling me. And finally, if I'm to be using this every day as a real phone, I will not be sending green bubbles to my hypothetical friends. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get iMessage running through this thing, or it's not usable to me.
Whatever daddy wants.
After a little bit of forum scrolling, I ended up finding a GSI version of Lineage OS, which I flashed to the R1 instead of the Android 12 version that they were using in the guide. And for those of you who touch grass on a regular basis, GSI stands for General System Image. And luckily, this new image magically fixes our Bluetooth issue, so that's one tick off the list. Alright, the second issue was a lot simpler to solve, but still took me an embarrassingly long time to figure out. There's this new grouping of settings that's included with the new image that I flashed to the R1, which actually fixes my exact issue. Luckily for me, I had no clue these were added, so I tried fixing this issue for almost a week straight, and I actually almost gave up on this project because I couldn't figure it out. But eventually I took a look and found what I needed. And with that, I basically had a working phone, but the schizophrenic voices in my head weren't really done with me yet. And that brings me to this little guy I mentioned earlier. Using the macOS partition, I used an app called Blue Bubbles, which routes my iMessages from the Mac to any Android device which has the companion app, so I can send and receive iMessages like normal. One caveat though is, I think this now needs to always stay on and connected to the internet for me to send and receive iMessages fine. Now that everything is technically working to my liking, how really good is it to use? It's really bad. It's really bad. I don't know what you expected. Well, I mean, personally, I really like the design of this thing. There's really nothing else like it out there. Oh, I guess for a reason. But you really get looks when you pull it out literally wherever. Since it's so tiny, you can't really do a lot on it. Which may or may not be good for you. One big thing about this device is its size. It is really small, which means the screen is going to be really small. You can do stuff like web browsing, email, but anything social media wise, like Instagram, TikTok, you're not really going to want to use it just because it's so tiny. It almost functions as a dumb phone in that way, where you can't really use it for a lot of things, just because of the screen size. One thing that I haven't really talked about is the camera. Now, the camera quality is dog shit. I don't know what you expected, but it's mounted on a servo motor which can only be controlled through software, so I had to do a bit of figuring out where I used an app called MacroDroid, which I basically programmed to, whenever I open a camera app, it will set the camera to face forwards.
Hello there.
And then once I'm in a camera app, I can shake it to get a selfie view, and then shake it again back, and just go back and forth like that. Now, there is one thing about the camera with the selfie view. It is flipped when it's facing you, but that's just a problem for another time. I don't want to fix that. One thing about this device that I can't really fix is the battery. The battery is really small in this device. It's around like 1,000 milliamps, which means if you really try, it can last you a whole day. I've found myself having to plug it in throughout the day with kind of normal usage, which I don't know, that might be good for you as well if you're trying to cut down on your screen time, because you're going to be be managing your battery a little bit more. That's definitely one big thing that I wish I could improve. Who knows, in the future I might try and open this thing up and replace the battery, but right now that's a bit out of my reach and something I just couldn't be bothered to do yet. Even with all these issues I've been talking about, I've actually been using the R1 as like my daily driver for the last 2 and a bit weeks, and honestly, it's worked surprisingly well. I've tried like dumb phones in the past, like some flip phones, some Blackberries, and they just kind of don't cut it, but this is like just the right balance of really shitty and just usable that it really functions in that sort of dumb phone area. Not that I'd recommend you go out and buy this and mod this and do that for yourself. Don't do it. Don't do it. But just for my experience, it's been not that bad. That's kind of all I wanted to share. Thanks for watching.